You have been lied to since the exact moment you were born. You were told to go to school, get a good degree, find a safe job, slowly invest in a 401k, and eventually one day you will be free. But what if I told you that exact formula was heavily engineered to make sure you never actually escape? Most people look around at their lives, the debt, the exhaustion, the endless commute, the weekend that feels like a 2-day life support system, and they think they are doing something wrong. They think they just need to work harder. What they do not realize is that the system isn't broken. It is working perfectly, and you are its main product. There is an invisible architecture built around your life right now. It dictates your choices, your income, your desires, and your beliefs. And until you can actually see it, you will never break out of it. To understand why you are trapped, we have to rewind. Look at the education system. You were taught to sit in rows, ask for permission to speak, follow strict schedules, and memorize instructions without questioning them. Does that sound like the recipe for creating free-thinking innovators? No. It is the exact blueprint for creating compliant factory workers. The modern school system was literally funded and designed during the Industrial Revolution by titans of industry who needed a massive, obedient workforce. They didn't want you to be wealthy. They wanted you to be useful. And that fundamental programming is still running in your brain right now. It is the reason you feel a deep, irrational fear of taking risks or stepping outside the normal path. You were graded on your ability to conform, and you are still trying to get an A+ in a game designed to bleed you dry. But that was just phase 1. Phase 2 is where the invisible cage gets locked. Let's talk about the illusion of choice and the debt trap. The moment you step into adulthood, the system hands you a script. College loans, car payments, credit cards, a mortgage. You are told this is simply how life works. But debt is not just a financial tool. It is a leash. When you owe hundreds of thousands of dollars before you even figure out who you are, you can no longer afford to take risks. You can't quit the job you hate because the system demands its monthly payment. You trade your time, the only non-renewable resource you have, to pay interest to institutions that print money out of thin air. You are renting your own existence. And what do we do to cope with this reality? Here is where the modern system gets truly sinister. Enter the attention economy. In the past, physical borders kept people trapped. Today, the borders are digital and they are in your pocket. The anxiety of the rat race is unbearable, so society provides you with endless digital anesthesia. Social media, streaming, endless scrolling. These are not just entertainment. They are pacifiers. Whenever you feel that quiet, agonizing realization that your life is slipping away, the system offers you a dopamine hit, keeps you distracted, exhausted, and constantly comparing yourself to fake lives on the internet. A population that is numb, tired, and divided is a population that will never unite to question the architecture of the cage. What most people don't realize is that consumerism is the ultimate control mechanism. You work a job you hate to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't even like. And the moment you get a raise, you upgrade your lifestyle. A nicer car, a bigger apartment. This is called lifestyle inflation, but it should be called what it really is, voluntary imprisonment. You willingly tighten the leash around your own neck. But here is where it gets genuinely terrifying. The system does not need to force you to stay anymore. You are guarding your own cage. Think about it. What happens when someone decides to do something completely different? When someone says they are going to start a business, drop out, or reject the corporate ladder? Who are the first people to drag them down? It is usually their friends and family. This is the crab mentality. If you put a single crab in a bucket, it can easily climb out. But if you put a dozen crabs in a bucket, the moment one tries to escape, the others will physically pull it back down. Society weaponizes our need for belonging. We are terrified of social rejection, so we stay in the bucket. We stay in the system because being broke and exhausted alongside everyone else feels safer than being free and alone. So, how do the top 1% actually escape? What do they know that you do not? They understand that money is not real. It is a game of leverage. The middle class trades time for money. The wealthy trade money for time, and then use that time to build systems that generate more money. They don't save their way to wealth. They own their way to wealth. The system is built on assets and liabilities. The middle class buys liabilities, cars, clothes, expensive gadgets, and calls them assets. The wealthy buy true assets, businesses, real estate, intellectual property, equities, things that put money into their pockets whether they are awake or asleep. But the real secret to escaping the system isn't just financial. It is psychological. You have to decouple your mind from the expected timeline. You have to be willing to look foolish to people who are fundamentally unhappy. You have to kill the part of you that craves the validation of the system. Escaping the matrix doesn't mean moving to a cabin in the woods. It means understanding the rules of the game so deeply that you can play it on your own terms. It means protecting your attention as fiercely as you protect your bank account. It means refusing to go into debt for status. The system is vast, it is brilliant, and it is hungry. It wants your time, your energy, and your conformity. But the moment you see the strings, they lose their power. You are only trapped as long as you believe the walls are real. The game is playing you. It is time to take the controller.